Senator Joni Ernst said days ago the president's rhetoric can complicate efforts to try to get real policy change here in Washington. So what does she think about chances for his immigration proposal, and what should he say to America tomorrow night? Joining me now, Republican Senator from Iowa, Joni Ernst. Great to have you with us.
Thanks, Shannon. It's great to be here.
Let's talk about this issue first of immigration, because I know that's something you all are working on around the clock. There's controversy from the left and the right from the president's plans. What do you think are the odds it moves forward?
Well, certainly this is a great starting point. So what the president has provided is his roadmap, but it's up to Congress to make those final decisions on where we go. So whether it's the number of Dreamers that are included, the 1.8 million that he's proposed, or whether it's a smaller number, those are all things that Congress will need to make decisions on. So again, it's a great starting point, but there are still a lot of questions that we have with his proposal on immigration and DACA. We're going to have to work through that.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like the House and the Senate, at least the proposals we saw initially from the two houses, were so different. I mean, do you think that the lawmakers can bicamerally get together on something?
I think we can. I am very hopeful in this regard. DACA is not an issue that's owned by one side or the other, because we all agree that we need to find a solution for our Dreamers. It's really important that we help that population move forward. But all of the other items that the president would like to see included, we have to come to a consensus on that. I think we can. Border security is really important to so many of us, and with that, I think we can work through this issue and find a resolution.
I want to read the quote that I referenced a little bit earlier about what you had to say about the president. You said, "I don't appreciate the rhetoric. What I can say is that I do support some of the policies that we're working on." How tough does the rhetoric part of what he does make your job?
Well, it is hard because he may be talking about other issues. And we've mentioned the 5 top issues that the president wants to focus on for the State of the Union. Those are the things that we need to focus on, because that's what the American people expect us to do. They want to know that we are going to come forward with an infrastructure package. They want to know that we're going to work on immigration, jobs, and the economy. The wonderful Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that we just passed last month is providing wonderful opportunity across the United States. Those are the things that the American people are really interested in, and they want us to work on.
What kind of message do you think he should have tomorrow night? What kind of words or concepts or themes, or would you like to see from him?
I think, again, going back to those main points that I just mentioned, it will be important to communicate that to the American people. And the president, I know, will speak from the heart, and he is very good at that. And when he does it and sticks to those topics that the American people want to hear about, they are caught up in his speech and in his language. And I hope it's a message of optimism, keeping America safe, keeping us strong, and of course, making us all proud to be Americans. I think that's what I hope to hear from the president, and that's what I truly expect.
I want to ask you, there was a vote tonight on something that you helped to sponsor, which was this bill that would ban abortions with exceptions after 20 weeks, based on the concept that unborn fetuses or children at 20 weeks are developed enough that they feel pain. It didn't proceed. You did bring over 3 Democrats, but 2 Republicans held out. I got reaction from a group, strong pro-life group, Students for Life, a young group. They said pro-life Americans would finally have a groundbreaking victory for life in the U.S. Senate if the vote passed with majority rules as it should. You had to get to 60. You got 51. It's time for a rule change. I mean, what do you think about ending the legislative filibuster?
I think this is something that we need to come together in a bipartisan manner, and we need to have a very hard discussion about the rules that exist in the Senate today. And I think there is room to make improvements, because we see that anytime we're working on legislation, whether we're working on actual policy bills or appropriations, there's always a filibuster. If you don't like something, you filibuster it, and you don't ever see results. So it's time to have those discussions, and I do think that we can do better for the American people.
Quickly, I want to ask you, though, would you worry that if the Republicans ended up in the minority in the House, you would lose that tool to hold up legislation you didn't think was a good thing for
those are absolutely things that we need to talk about, is what happens when you're no longer that majority party. But again, in a bill today, this very important pain-capable Unborn Child Protection Act, it had 51 votes. The majority in the Senate agreed that this was a good piece of policy legislation, and it couldn't move forward because we didn't have the 60 votes necessary. So I think it's time to have those discussions, but it again needs to be bipartisan so that it can move forward with agreement.
That is one of the controversial topics there on the Hill. Great to see you tonight.
Thanks,
and
Shannon.
we'll see you at the State of the Union tomorrow night.
Of
as well.
course. Thank you. I look forward to it.
Thank you.